But this concept of, carrying your gallon jug of water and just forcing yourself to drink all day long might not be wisest thing you can do.
In this short video, we're going to talk about the water myth. I know you were taught that you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. I was taught that. Everyone knows that. That's what they say you need to do. Well, someday I'm going to find out who they is, because every time I find out a concept that everyone is doing because we just have to do it, suspect, because it turns out most of those recommendations end up to be false down the road. So I guess the common thought is you have to drink half of your body weight in ounces. So if I'm 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces. That's 12 and a half glasses of water a day. That's a lot of water, and that's 8-ounce glasses, okay? So let's just go through this, okay? Number one, 60% of the body is water. Is that true? No, it's not true. In fact, 0% of your body is water. Not 1 millimeter of your body is pure water. It's all electrolyte fluids. You got your blood, your lymph, your urine. All these fluids are electrolytes. That's minerals. That's sodium, potassium, calcium, and a lot of other stuff in these fluids. It's not just pure water. So that's kind of a falsity. Number two, the body doesn't know when it's thirsty. I love this. Well, first of all, it does know when it's thirsty. You can perceive thirst, hunger, hot, cold, temperature. You can perceive a lot of things. You have 52 perceptions perceiving a lot of stuff. So when someone tells you, well, sometimes when you're hungry, you're really thirsty, they're just making stuff up. All right, that's a false. All right, so now, number three, water flushes out the fat, so you need to drink more water because it helps you with losing weight. There's never been one person that lost even an ounce of fat by drinking more water. It's a myth. You can't lose weight by drinking more water because fat is fat soluble. It's not water soluble. It doesn't dissolve by pouring more water onto it. It's not going to happen. Try this. Take a slab of bacon, a fatty bacon, and pour water and shake it up and see if it dissolves. Or they say drink more water because you're going to eat less calories, right? Because you're going to not be as hungry. Well, yeah, until you have to use the bathroom. All right, number four. Water flushes out toxins. Well, again, toxins are fat soluble. They're not water soluble. And that would be like pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, drugs. They're all fat soluble. They're not water soluble. So it's not going to flush anything out. It's going to get stuck in the fat. So drinking more water is not going to flush those out, okay?
Interesting new points on water in general in its ability to hydrate your cells. First thing you need to know is, what is hydration? Is hydration just water in your cells? Actually, no, it's not. How does that water get into the cell and out of the cell? The water gets in and out of the cell through little channels that get help with electrolytes. And electrolytes are like these electrically charged minerals that in different concentrations inside and outside the cell, you'll get a flow, a certain flow, either going outside the cell or going inside the cell. And so a truly hydrated cell has the right amount of electrolytes inside and outside with the right amount of fluid. And a dehydrated cell is basically an imbalance of electrolytes and fluid. It's not just a lack of water. In fact, if you drink too much water, you're going to dilute certain electrolytes and create dehydration in certain parts of your body. There's a condition called hyponatremia. That means low sodium in the blood. One cause would be you just drank a lot of pure water without any salt, and now you diluted this sodium throughout the cells. It's very, very dangerous. You can have inflammation of your brain. You can actually go into a coma. So we don't get hydrated just from water. Now, on the flip side, I'm not against water. I drink water, and I think you should too. But this concept of, carrying your gallon jug of water and just forcing yourself to drink all day long might not be the wisest thing you can do, especially if you start bypassing the normal thirst mechanism that our body was designed to tell you if you're thirsty or not. When you're not thirsty and you force your body to drink a lot of water, you can end up in trouble, especially if you exercise. There's an incredible book by this, written by an exercise physiologist with a lot of research in long distance runners and even ultra marathon runners in relationship to hydration and if they should be drinking just a ton of water when they're not thirsty. They can end up with low sodium and actually create a big problem with their health. And then you have a lot of other fluids that you drink through the day that can create a diuretic effect. You can actually lose more water and become dehydrated when you drink things with caffeine, like coffee, tea, sodas, Anything you drink with caffeine is very dehydrating. And of course, alcohol, right? If you reflect back on the last time you drank a lot of alcohol the next morning, you're going to be completely dehydrated. That's why you have a headache. That's why your lips are dry. And so alcohol is a diuretic and it tends to dehydrate you as well. To truly hydrate the cell, you need all the electrolytes. You need sodium, potassium, chlorides, calcium, and magnesium. You have a thirst mechanism. And some people will say, well, we don't really know when we're thirsty. We just have to force our body to drink so much water. And that's just the way it is. But he evaluated tremendous amounts of data. And he looked at studies that weren't funded by companies like Gatorade, for example. And he found that even runners, long distance runners, when they drink too much water, when they're not thirsty, they get into trouble. I think a really good principle would be to drink when you're thirsty and don't ever force yourself to drink too much, okay? Because you can start to dilute these electrolytes. On the flip side, if you're prone to a kidney stone, you need to be drinking at least 2.5 liters of fluid every single day. But I would also add electrolytes to that. Now, I've been very curious about why I feel so much better when I drink carbonated water versus regular water. And I didn't know the answer until very recently. So I'm going to share this with you, as well as some other fascinating things related to CO2, carbon dioxide. So whether you're drinking soda water, club water, seltzer water, LaCroix, or any type of carbonated water, this relates to CO2 because the way they carbonate it is by adding this gas, CO2, into the water, which does make it slightly acidic because it turns into carbonic acid, unless it's stored a little bit differently as these bicarbonates in water. But regardless of that, when I drink carbonated water, I just feel more hydrated, my digestion's better, and I feel better. I feel more relaxed when I drink carbonated water. Now, I could not find any research on drinking carbonated water, okay, in that relating to an improved health. But I have found parallel research on all the things I'm talking about, and I'll include that down below. In one study, I found there was a significant increase in the parasympathetic nervous system activation by increasing CO2. That's the system that counters the flight or fight mode. It's the system that helps your healing and your digestion and your ability to sleep. And the device they use to measure the parasympathetic is what I used in my practice, which is technology called heart rate variability. Let's take a look at some other things that I found related to this. If you take a normal cell inside, and then you take a cancer cell, and we look at the pH of each one, the cancer cell actually is more alkaline. Now, the outside of the cell more acidic because of all the byproducts from lactic acid, things like that, but the inside of the cell is more alkaline than a normal cell, which is very interesting, especially as it relates to CO2. And I couldn't find any information on this, but think about this. When you deprive the tissue of CO2, you actually can develop alkalosis. That is a state of being too alkaline. So without that CO2 turning into carbonic acid, you can develop an overly alkaline state. And then I wanted to figure out, is there any relationship or any significant improvement in shrinking tumors or stopping the spread of cancer by increasing CO2? And I found a bunch of research, which is also very interesting. So apparently CO2 is a significant, potent anti-tumor gas. It has the ability to inhibit metastasis, which is interesting, as well as inducing apoptosis, which causes the cancer cells to commit suicide. It also inhibits this very interesting gene that's involved in this switching mechanism between a normal cell and it turning into cancer. That gene is called HIF-alpha, which is involved in hypoxia. Now, this probably doesn't make sense unless you understand that CO2 allows oxygen to go into the